everyone, welcome back. My name is Lynn Wilson, and we got a bucket full of stuff to talk about tonight. I got a nice big bucket full. So, I was sharing my journey with you all last night about my decluttering and, where we were and how we started with, no money and couldn't buy presents for years and years, and no Christmas, no New Year's, no birthdays, no nothing. There were no Easter plants. We actually had to tell our own family, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, all that stuff, that we were not buying Christmas presents. And that was a big deal in both sides of our family. They exchanged gifts. And, everybody's family is different, but that's how we did it. And I had to say, we understand that, Graham's got, there's 6 in the family, plus parents and grandparents at the time. And then I had 3 plus parents and all the rest. And we just said, if you could buy for our son, that would be great, but don't buy for us. We cannot exchange. And his one brother said, yeah, but we're all exchanging. You're going to be sitting there and everybody else. And we're like, we're fine. We were perfectly fine with it. Like, we weren't upset about it. We weren't, oh, poor us. It was nothing. We just knew we couldn't do it, and it was okay. And a few people still, like we would have, if we were going to buy you a gift, we weren't expecting a gift in return. We're going to give you a gift. And so we still had people do that, which was a blessing. And we were okay. Graham and I were okay. But I tell you, after many, many, many years, 10, 12, 15 years of that, it was getting old. And once in a while, I'd be like, I wouldn't mind getting a birthday present, or I would like to have a present under the tree. And we didn't have anything. And, then we started trying to make things. Maybe I could bake something, bake cookies for Graham, or, Graham could, and we did all kinds of things. I'm only giving you a little snippet of our years with that. And then we hit that, we can now afford gifts. And we lavished each other with gifts. And I just couldn't do enough for my husband. I was so excited. I wanted to give him the world. And unfortunately, he feels the same way. And yeah, and then, then you hit that point of now empty nest kind of feeling. And now we want to declutter. We don't know, let's say in the next 5 years, where we are going to move to. I would love to move smaller, simpler. I have ideas in my head where I would like to move to, and what I want it to look like, and what I want it to include and not include. And I have dreams. Let's just say I have dreams and I have goals. I don't know, but I want to work toward that. I want my home to reflect that I could do that, versus how in the world would we ever do that with what we have. I also shared with you how I'm attached to things and how I can be attached. And I guess I sat there last night and I said to my husband, and please forgive me, I still have not gotten to all the comments. And many of you were on a journey. Like, I hit a nerve. I was like, you ever feel like you're the only one that thinks or feels a certain way, and that, like, you're almost afraid to share how you're feeling because you feel like, well, no one else would understand. And I was amazed on how many of you could relate to where I'm at. Some of you really are having some tough times, and some of you have been through it and you gave words of encouragement. And listen, we all have a journey in life we're going on, and some of you, your journey is your stockpile, and you feel like you have too much, you have too little, you didn't start, you need to do better. Some of it's the decluttering of things in the house. And, some of you have other things you need to declutter. And I have a podcast, as many of you know, and it is called Hope for Today. It is I usually post it on my community page. You can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Facebook. We are now on Amazon Music. I'm on iTunes, Boxcast. I'm on 11 different platforms now. But I've talked about decluttering other things in our life other than stuff. So I wanted to mention that, and then I wanted to show you what I've been doing with this basket, because it might be a new way or a better way or a refreshing way of looking at some decluttering. So on this podcast, one that I had done, I talked about decluttering other things in your life. Maybe you need to declutter some friends. And I say that with all respect, but if you have people in your life that are pulling you down and bullying you or being negative in your life, you know what? Just like stuff, maybe there's some people you need to move on. You need to find some better friends that are encouraging, friends that you can go to and, get that shot in the arm when you need it, or a smile, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you need to declutter things on your Facebook. Maybe you need to unfriend people. Maybe you need to stop looking at your Facebook. Maybe you need to declutter your brain with junk that you're watching and listening to that are pulling you down. I can confess, there are a few people that I followed on YouTube that have changed, and now that doesn't mean they can't change. They have every right to change. People change their channels all the time, and that, whatever suits their purpose, that's fine. But I don't have to watch it. And there are ones that I would gravitate to because I wanted to be in the know, but they would really give their opinion of what's going on in the world. Their opinion isn't always correct. Their opinion wasn't positive. Is there junk going on right now in the world? Absolutely. Do I need to bury my head in the sand? No. You can just go Google something and up comes the Google News, and you can go on YouTube and catch the highlights. I don't need to bog my brain down with so much negative that I can't even get out of bed in the morning. And I know some of you can relate to that you've just got so much on your plate, whether it's stuff in your house or stuff in your life that is bogging you down. So the guidelines and rules that I've allowed myself in this basket, this one little basket, and this one basket has really, I sort of had an epiphany last night about decluttering. And I think this can be applied to whether it's stuff in your house, it's stuff in your brain, it's stuff on your phone, on your tablet, it's stuff in your, social life, whatever. We are worth something. We are worth a lot. And we need to treat ourselves that we are worth something. And I have found with having too much stuff overwhelmed me and pulled me down, and I did not sense my own self-worth because I didn't know where to turn, and it just can bog your brain down. Don't let people, things, phones, anything that has stuff in it to pull you down, because it's not worth it. You need to, if no one else is going to tell you that you're special, you need to tell yourself that you're special. And you need to allow yourself to believe that and know you have purpose, and that there is something in this world that you can make a difference in and do. And it doesn't mean that you need all this stuff to do it. Now, here, let me show you real quick some of the things that I did. Simple little things. You're all going to go, oh, I've done that already. Probably. I know that nothing's new under the sun, right? I'm going to show you anyway. So I had they're little stickies that you can put in let me show you one. Let me show you. So these are, and I love these. I use these in composition notebooks. I use them in my Bible journal. I use them in my planner. And they just have adhesives, and you just stick it, and then it's a little pocket. So, you can only use it so long, and then it rips and tears. And then I got a bunch of clear ones one time at the Target Dollar Spot. Well, I stocked up on them, and they're clear and sticky on the back, and then it's a clear pocket. Well, I like those, so I've allowed myself to keep them in a bag that I can organize things in. One of the other things is let me show you. I got stuff, people. I got stuff. Okay. Let me find my stuff. So, many years ago, I'll put these aside, I had been given a bunch of notebooks by different people. And I had cutesy things like this. and like this. And let me show you some more. Bible verse on this one. Isn't he cute? Little smiley face. And like this. And these are my absolute favorite, scarecrows. And I was given all of these notebooks. And when my kids were in school, yes, my oldest is now 32, but when my kids were in public school and I would have to write a note to the teacher, depending on the season, I would whip out a notebook and, dear Mrs. So-and-so, just wanted to touch base, blah, blah, blah. So I liked having these little notebooks to write little notes. Well, I had a friend that collected them, and she would say, oh, I bought 2, here's one for you. Well, I ended up with all these things. I don't need them. I've had some of these for 25, maybe even 30 years, and I liked them, I kept them, I used them a little bit, and okay, do I really need all these notebooks? No. So how do you get rid of stuff? I know, it's a notebook. I have to say to myself, it's a snowman, and it's a notebook, and you don't need to keep it. Many of you understand where I'm coming from. It's memories, it's nostalgic. It was a very precious time when my kids were in school. I loved it. I was a school mom, loved everything about it. I miss those times desperately. This notebook reminds me of that time in my life. So when I look at this notebook, it brings me a smile. But I have too many things. So here's what I allowed myself to do. I went through, and for every one, and now this is a mess because I threw it in a basket to show you, but for every one notebook, I allowed myself 4 of that item to keep. So I kept 4 of my Santas and 4 of my snowmen and so on. And so I was able to keep 4 of each item. And if I wasn't like super gung-ho on it and I liked it a little, I only kept maybe 2 or 3. And I thought that was a great way to do it. So then I had this notebook, and it was brand new, and it was all covered in cellophane, and I didn't realize how really very pretty it is. And so then I was thinking, well, what should I do with this? And I thought, well, I took the cellophane off and I'll keep 4 sheets. Well, Margaret, if you're watching, Margaret sends me cards, and I have got 2 birthday cards just this morning. I need to pull those out and tell you about those. But Margaret sends me cards that she remakes with cards that she gets. And I just fell in love with this, and I thought, boy, I could write a Bible verse in here. I could write a little sentiment in here. So I decided to keep probably half of the notebook because I really think I could reuse these sheets and put that on the card and make a card out of it. So I think for those, I'm going to keep a little bit more. Okay, what else do we have in here? Well, then I had this canister, as you can see, and they come off. There we go. Like you can see there. They come off. So what I did is I turned it this way so I can get it back in there. I went ahead and I went through this and I collected all the things that I had that I no longer need. I don't need thumbtacks, and I don't need push pins, and I don't need some paper clips and all that stuff. And I had this canister and I filled it up with all these things, as you can see. And I decided, you know what? I can bring that to work. We can use that at work. So then I had some of these containers were filled with like 4 thumbtacks. Well, these are magnetic. These are great. I could use these on my refrigerator. I know some people put spices in them. I don't like to do that because I don't find the lid staying on long enough. But anyway, what I did is all of those things that I started to save, I could put one in here and paper clip in here, the fancy one. And I could put all these things in here and keep 1 or 2 of those items, and that is it. The other thing is I teach a mentoring class, which I've talked about, a group of girls, and they're from 12 to 18, even older than that. Really, it's 12 to 21 now. And we mentor the girls in life skills. Well, I'll be teaching them in the month of March. We're doing personal charcuterie boards, which is, I can't wait. We're going to be doing a sweet and a savory. So they're going to do a dessert one and like a snack one. And so I'm going to be teaching the girls how to make a personal charcuterie board. But I also do a little devotion, and we're going to share a Bible verse. And then I, kind of like to teach them like another craft, a hands-on craft. So I'm going to be teaching them how to make a Bible verse journal and how to decorate it and all that. Well, in my little stash, I found little clips like this, little cupcake clips that they can clip on, and little clips like this, little clothespins clips, and then all these things such as this, little ones that I've made where it's a paper clip and you add a little thing. Well, I've got a whole slew of this stuff. So I thought, well, instead of throwing this out, let me throw this together, and then the girls can use this to decorate their stuff. And whatever is left after that, I'm just going to take those things that are left, and if they want extra to bring home for their notebooks for school, great. If not, I'm going to bring them to work and let my coworkers have fun looking through it. So what did I learn in this process? Last night I had this moment, and I said to my husband, I'm excited. Like, I just felt like I had an epiphany. And yes, if you hear somebody snoring, it's not my husband. It's Mr. Kip. He's laying at my feet. He heard his name, and he's opening his eyeballs, and he's snoring away. So anyway, I was allowing myself to keep things that meant something to me, but on a very limited basis. Again, how can a little piece of paper such as this make you so excited that you can't get rid of a notebook? And you do become attached to weird things for weird memories that no one else could understand. But what I will be doing is doing a junk journal, and I enjoy junk journals, and somebody did ask me to do it. And crafts have never really been something I've done a whole lot of on this channel, and the few that I've done haven't been a big wow in terms of people interested and views and things like that, but somebody did ask, so I can do that. But one junk journal, you see people do a holiday one or this one or that one. I told my husband I want to do a junk journal on things that I like, and that's all it's going to be. And I might put one of these in my junk journal and just put some stickers around it or journal around it. I don't even know what. I don't know what. But I figured the 4 that I keep would allow me to use those in a junk journal or use it in something like a scrapbooking thing. I have 4 of them. That's it. And if I never use the 4, it's only 4 things that I can easily get rid of versus all these notebooks, all these bits and bobs and paper clips and who knows what I went through. Now, I'm going to show you a picture here. This is a unit that I had, and I had a lot of things in it, and I'm going through it. My mother wants this unit. But I've gone drawer by drawer by drawer, and I'm like totally going, this is going here, this is going here, this is going here. That's it. The other thing I said to my husband with my crafts, I was becoming completely overwhelmed with that. And so when we were away on vacation, I said to my husband, in my mind, I almost envision a black suitcase, like a large one. And whatever can fit in that suitcase is all I am keeping for crafts. If it doesn't fit, I'm not cramming one more thing in there. It's like if you have 5 pairs of shoes and you have a box so big and you can only fit 4 pairs, unless you can line them up perfectly, that 5th pair is not going in there. One of those pairs of shoes have to go. And I have found that by limiting myself to it has to fit in here, I have been able to sort through things better and say, as I'm sorting, I can only fit 3 out of these 5, which are my favorites, which is my first absolute favorite. Like, without a doubt, this one I'm keeping. It's going in the bucket. And then what would be my next best favorite? And then, okay, I could only fit 1 more, and you got 3 to choose from, and I got to weigh it out and pick the one that really means a lot to me. Just by those little tips and tricks. It's kind of a game that you play with yourself, the games you got to play to get through the declutter and to break away emotionally from things and everything else. And if you're one of these people that can boom, 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 declutter and get rid of, and it doesn't mean anything to you, good for you. I haven't gotten there yet. And I don't think a lot of people here that we've been talking with have gotten there either. So I wanted to do that suitcase. The reality is, I thought in my mind, oh, if I go somewhere to a crop or to a craft night, I take my suitcase with me and all my goodies are in it. Don't think that's quite going to work, but I liked the idea of that. So we've been moving furniture around in the house and sort of reorganizing and, you know, kind of sharing furniture from one room to the next to see if it works better. And my husband had this 6 cubby cubicle, and we bought Dollar Tree bins, put them in there. And he had this idea that he was going to do. And as he started decluttering, he realized, I don't need that anymore. Everything I have fits over here. What are you going to do with that? He says, I don't really know. I don't really need it now. So I've decided, I'll put a picture here. I'm going to use this and put my crafts in it. I'm going to have one bin that's going to be my rubber stamps, my stamp pads. Anything to do with rubber stamps will fit in there. If it doesn't fit, it has to go. I'm going to have one filled with and one filled with and one filled with. Whatever the crafts are that I like to do, that's what's going to go in each bin, and then I'm going to label each bin. I sat down and I decided to write down what crafts I'm into, or, you know, paint or rubber stamps or, you know, embellishments and things like that. So as I organized this, I would know what I wanted to do. The best thing is I can line up all the bins and sort of, and just sort and put them in the bins. Boom, 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 boom. And when the bin starts to fill, okay, Lynn, you got a lot more to go. You have a little bit to go. Can you fit it? Can't you fit it? You've got to make choices. I found for myself, I give myself permission to keep things, but now to a point. I have purposely made a point of saying it can only fit in this item, in this drawer, in this box, in this cabinet, whatever it is. It cannot exceed those dimensions of that item. It has helped me tremendously that it can only fit. I now have to view everything I have and figure out how I'm going to make it fit. And if it doesn't fit, I have to make choices. I told my husband last night, me, myself, and I have had many conversations. We're arguing with ourselves. I'm arguing with my own self, saying, come on, Lynn, you got to get together. I'm like, I'm trying. I really am. You know, you're talking to yourself and you're trying to talk yourself through it. But by limiting even those pieces of paper, that I took the paper and I allowed myself, because this paper meant a lot to me, I can keep 4 of them, and that is it. And I can keep whatever can fit in that box. I don't know. Do you play games like that? Is that a way? I think it's a way of making it fun. It's a way of allowing myself to keep some things, but it's also a way of putting some pressure on myself, gentle pressure, gentle guidelines, gentle boundaries of, you can keep it, but it must fit in this. It's kind of like when you're, you know what, you go back to when you raised your kids. You can keep all those Legos as long as they fit in this box. And if the Legos don't fit in the box, we have to think about passing that on to someone else. I got to go back to my roots of when I raised my kids and what I said to my kids. And you know what? I don't know. Are those tips helpful to you? I just felt like so many of you reached out and said, I know what you're going through. I'm going through it myself. So there you have it. There's my few tips and tricks of simple ways to declutter, to set boundaries, to set some gentle guidelines to get you through that first hump of, I got to get through it. But I'll tell you, when you start getting in the groove, it does help you. You get your momentum and it becomes a little bit easier. I would love to hear your stories in the comments. I want to hear what's happening. It's our way of connecting. I consider you my friends. I love hearing from you guys. My end is a little delayed because of work and life, but I will get back to you. So please leave me your comment. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. It does help my channel grow. And if you're new here and you want to consider watching some of my other videos, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you are already subscribed and a regular, thanks so much for your loyalty, your encouragement, and being there every time I have a video. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you all on the next one.